and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest, which that's essentially going on concurrently, with the nukes. See, but then also the chariots is going to be zapping, the heathen, right, in 2/3. That's the Lord speaking to the heathen and his sword displeasure, This is Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 14. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem an evil thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hand of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness.
Going back to those damn black roulette, they try to put pretty much the gatekeepers for our people. To keep our people underneath the hand of Esau, man. Pretty much Esau's lapdog and shit, man. Because a lot of, like you said, what's it called, the Divine Nine and all of that, those fraternities and all of that, they're all, that whole conglomerate, that fraternal order, if you will, all right, it's a bunch of sellouts, man.
It expands past, because most people, when they think about it, within the tribe, they have the forefront Judah. But you also have the northern kingdom as well. They also have fraternities and sororities, right? Well, across the board, Jake is continually forward in the hands of the evildoers, right? It's not just a one tribe thing; it's the whole nation. You have sellouts within the nation.
Sure.
This is when Isaiah 10, and we don't pay attention. Well, we get that after. Back in the book of Psalms, chapter 64, and starting at verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword. Right. It's a similitude being made here, because if you was to sharpen a sword, you don't use it to put it up on a shelf for it to look good. Or you sharpen the sword to actually use it. So it says, who whet their tongue, when you wet something, you sharpen it. Who whet their tongue like a sword. Essentially, that wetting the tongue essentially goes into laws, the regulations, the legislations. Essentially, that sword is pointed at Jake, Right. You think about it like whenever a blacksmith works on a sword to sharpen it, they have to put that water over it and sharpen it. So like you said, the regulations, the laws, the decrees, he's continually at work. Right. That nigga working non-stop, around the clock, like a 2-1. He's in their power. That's it. You get Isaiah 10 and 1. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. Right, so woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. All right, woe means destruction, misery. The destruction and misery to those that write the unrighteous decrees. And decree is something mandated. So they pretty much came up with this mandate themselves. All right, it wasn't divine in nature. And that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Right, that right grievousness which they have prescribed. You see, all these laws and different social constructs that's set up, all of that set up against so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans. They're the ones that are prescribing it. The problems that exist in your community, they're the ones that prescribe these grievous laws and legislations, right? And these decrees to really further your oppression, right? So that you don't turn from wickedness, so that you continue to strengthen the hand of the evildoers. Because again, brothers have referenced the book of Tobit, or excuse me, not Tobit, Judith, right? How the heathen are understanding of the fact that their power is synonymous with our reluctance to serve the Lord in sincerity. So they do everything within their power to try and forward that wickedness into the minds of our people.
It's about breaking the connection.
Yeah.
In Psalm 62 and 4, right? They only consult to cast them down from the Exodus. It's all about disconnecting these people on this side from their power. So by that happening, they can continue to reign over us. It's all spiritual. They know that.
Yeah.
Right? That's why, hey, when you go back to the time for the temple, Nebuchadnezzar, first temple, then you had the second temple, 70 AD. The heathens knew that, our connection to the temple, to the Most High, that's why it was always about disconnecting us from the Lord.
And that's why they were trying to disrupt the building of the second temple. It was like, oh, fuck no.
Yeah. Because they wrote the letter to Xerxes, right? Saying if you let these, matter of fact, get that real quick.
Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra, yep. Where they said if you let these people build, they're gonna cause a bunch of trouble and all of that. Ezra, the 4th chapter. That's why they're trying to hinder the building now. It's all spiritual. That's why they're trying to hinder the word. They're trying to stop the videos. All right, they're trying to demonize us, whatever they can to put that what's the word I'm looking for? To put that stain on the ministry, so to speak.
Right.
You know, that stigma. Yeah. You know, so it's all spiritual. As your voice, you start at the top, read down. Just to make the point real quick.
This is the book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard the children of the captivity building the temple unto Yahweh power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you.
So you gotta understand the context. You had a remnant of Judah, all right, the southern kingdom, that came out of Babylonian captivity, all right, that were they set up to build the temple, all right. Go ahead.
Let us build with, pardon me, verse 2. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you. For we seek your power as ye do. And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Yeshua and the rest of...
Because you got, at the time, when you go back to 2 Kings 17, when the northern kingdom were removed out of Samaria, you had implants put in the land. All right, you had heathens put in the land, right? So these heathens actually thought that they had a connection with our power, that they were actual Israelites, right? Go ahead.
But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power. But we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us.
Yeah, because King Cyrus gave the decree to rebuild the temple again, right? And it's the same thing now. You know, you have these Christians that try to say, look, we want to build with y'all. How come we can't come together? It's not going to happen, right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
See, it's all spiritual, just like they did back then. They tried to trouble them from rebuilding the temple. Right? Jump to verse 11.
Verse 11. This is the copy that they sent unto him, even Xerxes the king. Thy servants, the men of this side the river, and at such a time.
Yep.
Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city.
See, building the rebellious and bad city, and it's the same thing with us. Because now, the city now, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So it's that same stigma.
Went from an ally to an enemy, just like that.
You know?
Continuing on, verse 13, pardon me, verse 12 in the latter, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, enjoying the foundations.
Right, now check this out, read verse 13.
Verse 13, be it known unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom.
They're not going to pay toll, they're not going to pay tribute or custom, they're going to rebel. This is why they wrote the letter to Xerxes, like, don't let them do this. Don't let them rebuild. Go ahead.
And so thou shalt endamage the revenue of the kings.
Keep going.
Now because we had maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we sent and certified the king.
Keep going.
That search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. So shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city.
Know that this city is a rebellious city. Go ahead.
And hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed.
Right. So they were basically pleading with him, like, don't let them do this, because these heathen, they understand what happens when we're in our right mind, when we're connected back to our power. Right. That's why these devils are fighting tooth and nail to keep our people disenchanted. That's why you see all these videos coming about the Hebrew Israelites, how it's a cult, it's this, it's that. You know, they don't know what they're talking about. It's a hate group. You know, to put that stigma upon us, man. Yeah, hey, things are no different from back then and now. Okay, that's the point. You got that.
Because that, like you said, is no different now, and it's just gonna get worse.
Yeah.
This is the definition of defamation. It says the act of defaming, calumny, slander, or libel, and law of the injuring of a person's good name or reputation.
Yep.
It says the act of defaming, especially unjustified injury to another's reputation, a false accusation of an offense, or a malicious misrepresentation of someone's words or actions.
There you go.
And that's what they're doing. You know, when they were told, no, you can't build with us, instead of just hearing them and accepting it, they took up arms, went all the way to Xerxes and said, nah, these people right here, they bad news. But you just wanted to associate yourself with them a few seconds ago.
Exactly.
You know? But that's the times that we're coming into, where there's going to be defamation because the heathen can't partake in what we're doing, man.
Yeah, they're not part of the covenant. You know?
This is back in the book of Psalms, chapter 64, and verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Right, they got a book out, it's called Silent Weapons for Secret Wars. All right, and essentially those silent weapons go into the different situations that Esau puts in front of our people. You know, whether that be, you know, the food he puts into the community, all right, the entertainment, you know, the music, the drugs, you know, weapons, stuff like that. You know, all of that is essentially set there, all right, because it's weaponized against our people. You know, ultimately going into how the weapons are shot.
Man, that's the spirit. Shoot out.
Oh, everything's spiritual. It's war on tape.
Verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Right, even bitter words.
Psalm chapter 73,
Verse 9.
Psalm 73 and 9. They set their mouth against the heavens.
Right, we got what?
And
Psalms,
then,
the second chapter, all right, simply speaking against the Lord, the wicked, speaking against the Lord, all right, and also against the anointed, who was the Israelites, you know.
They set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walking through the earth.
Right, that tongue walking through the earth, you know. If your tongue walks through the earth, it's simply going to how they're thinking within their mindset. Yeah, his mindset, his enterprises, that's essentially what he's able to push forth on the rest of the people, you know.
All those policies.
We also get Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. Because everybody are outside of the elect is following the policies and enterprises of this devil, you know.
Yeah, the whole world, the whole world is under the vibration and mindset of the Edomite. See, this is why he has to be uprooted out of the earth. All right, because his way of thinking is not aligned in righteousness. This is why the earth is destroyed. This is why the people are polluted. This is why the land is defiled. Right, because you have the unwise king that's ruling. The unwise king destroyed his people, man. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. You see, this is why he got to go.
It's Psalm 37, 35. I've seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree.
Right, and pretty much the scriptures, they say, you know, when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases.
Yep.
You see, because, you know, the scriptures say, Malachi 1 and 4, you know, the border of wickedness.
Yep.
You know, so wherever they living at, you know, it's going to be wicked there, you know. And not only that, you know, they're going to push forth their lifestyle.
Yeah,
you know, hey,
that's what I was gonna
do this, do that, and the whole time it's got some righteous.
Yep.
What the trees do, they spread their roots right underneath the ground and then that covering right over the top, man. Right, so they have all bases covered, you know, with wickedness. Man.
That's why they're going to deal with that. This society is not going to be worth even trying to repair. Because this is the fruit that's came out of it.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can, like, you have talks about the systemic oppression and how deeply woven the hands are in this system. You can't uproot that problem outside of just destroying the people.
Yeah.
You just got to destroy it. You're not going to uproot that people.
Yeah.
His hands is too deeply woven.
John 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 4. who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High.
Right? How does he do this? You know, it's essentially Esau understands that the land Sabbath, and, essentially how everything's supposed to be ran. But his role in this movie is to be opposite, and that's essentially what he does. He's a damn good devil, you know.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High.
Right? He shows that he shows himself to be a proverbial power. You see, by essentially ordering everybody to do what he wants. You know,
Yeah.
Isaiah 10:1. The previously was they have a scribe.
He does that through his science and technology. That's how he's able to elevate himself as a God. You know, because this power that he was blessed with on the left hand side, you know, it's deluded his mind. You know, surely with high school Obadiah, Father thy heart after sleep. So this man, he's under strict delusion to the point where he actually thinks that he's God and he's getting ready to take down the true power, man. You know? He's full of himself, man. But hey, like Romans, give me that Romans 9 and I raised up Pharaoh.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, and verse 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up.
Yeah, see, so the modern day Pharaoh is the Edomite. So this very same purpose, the Lord raised Esau up. Go ahead.
That I might show my power in thee.
Right, because when he takes him down, the world's gonna know who the true power is. Man. So he elevated him with the sword. That was his blessing, going back to Genesis, the 25th chapter. Right? His blessing was the sword. The sword entails this technology, this AI, his science, all right, his nuclear weaponry, all right, his army, his ability to control the world's resources, the money, the food supply. See? But he was given this power just so the Lord could show the world who's the real power, man. When he takes him down, it was the same thing with Pharaoh in ancient Egypt. See, he hardened the Pharaoh's heart just so the Lord could to show who's really the boss. You know, who's really the king. You know. Any more?
That I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Yeah, so that the name of Yahweh Shem Shai will be declared throughout the earth. Because, hey, once Babylon is taken down, the Lord's reputation is going to skyrocket, man. The whole planet is going to know that the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is behind us, man. Right?
Plus all this shit, nukes getting shot off at the same time, men, women, and children, the elect being delivered.
Yep.
Who did this? Who did
It's going to go down in history.
That's
Yeah. Jeremiah 16, right?
There might be some type of doubt.
made the right
that people
decision.
will have. So we have to make it happen in the most magnificent way possible, right? To prove that there's only one power that can do this.
Come on, man. It's the ultimate Jake you're dealing with, man. Yahweh Shai, man. He's going to come and invade this world in style. All right? Isaiah 19 tells you that, first verse. He's going to come, he's going to invade Egypt in that fathership, man. It said every idol shall melt, man. People will give up the spirit on the sight of Yahweh Shai coming on the scene, man. You got that.
Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 14.
There you go.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
Right, because what's coming is going to overshadow what happened in ancient Egypt.
Right.
That's what's going to be talked about for the rest of eternity, man.
To this day, niggas still be over in Egypt doing fucking excavations, looking at the land, tours and things like that. You know, trying to figure out the history of that time. You know, the miracles that had happened. You know,
Egypt is still looked at as a wonder of the world. If you got like the ancient wonders of the world, the pyramids and the Sphinx, that's the ancient wonder. So Babylon, when this shit's destroyed, there ain't gonna be no remembrance of this place, bro.
only
Yeah.
remembrance is going to be the deliverance.
Deliverance. But then on top of that, the Exodus from here is gonna eclipse the one from over there. So it's gonna be a new high holy day, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Verse 15. But Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them.
Yeah, land of the North, North America, man. This deliverance that's coming, this second Exodus, is what's going to be talked about forever. Go ahead.
And I will bring them again to their land that I gave unto their fathers.
That's the point. No?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, in verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Yeah, Psalms 37 and 14. But it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And which it says secret, you see, because ultimately they don't come out and say, hey, this is their plan. Essentially, it's shown by way of, their laws. All right, we pretty much harp on their laws. Pretty much they put it into their laws. They put it into the businesses. They put it into jobs. All right, in various different sectors of life. Essentially, that's them shooting in secret at the perfect being the Israelites.
Yeah. We got out in Atlanta. Basically, what they were doing in fucking DeKalb County, they weren't charging the residents in that area for water for like months, years. And then what they did was they did a backdoor deal. They went to the city and said, look, all these people that live in this area have not paid water. So now what they're trying to do is take the homes of these people and say, look, you ain't gonna pay your water bill. DeKalb County. In Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, it's like that too. But I want to add on to what you're saying because not only is it with the laws, it's with the culture that they given Jake. That's how they shoot the poor because they gave Jake a whole police system that's predicated upon them killing themselves.
Exactly.
You know,
Self-destruction.
yeah, everything that our people embrace as a culture is to your destruction, and you don't even realize it. It's embroidered in death and outer work.
Land back on your point, pretty much going into the nigga culture, Mexican culture, Haitian culture. All of these things was created essentially to destroy our people.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Right, no matter where Jake is, all right, in the world, essentially Jake is a proverb, Jake is an astonishment, a byword. And that word proverb or byword goes into a sharp saying. Nigga, spick, wetbacks, all of those things essentially have a stigma tied to them. See, but then also it has a culture that's tied to it too, but it's essentially responsible for the destruction of our people.
Yeah, that culture has a spirit that's tied to it. Yeah, it's demonic, man.
You look at different things that Jake called themselves and they do. Like you said, they have a spirit, attached to it. Like we talking about this past. I went to some research, like that man spirit dealing with the black woman. Go back to slavery. You got the big fat Jake woman. That's a demon that pretty much that's manifested itself back today. This is why you see a lot of Eve's fat. That's that spirit still on there because when you look into it, that baby spirit was pretty much false spirit. The independent woman. That's the same thing that's being put back on them now.
Yeah, she's over the moon. That's all. It's all the spirit in it that goes back to pretty much the Hamites.
That goes even with the hyenas. That's the spirit that they call. She's calling the black woman but that's the spirit of a hyena, man, ruling over the men.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, you got the men who is naturally bred to be subservient, walk around with his head down, being pulled over by everybody. No, what's that word? Preeminence of himself. Which goes back to slavery as well, because if you look into it, that's the Willie Lynch letter. The Willie Lynch letter is essentially what the brother talked about of those within secretly shooting at the poor, because you don't realize that that's still being implemented today. Same practice that you see putting the man against the woman, putting the light skins against the dark skins, putting the youth against the elders. All these things were practices that Willie Lynch put in place, that's still being pushed today.
Psalm chapter 64 verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Now we read this in David Hughes in the commentary. It reads, suddenly they shoot at him and do not fear. David knew that his enemies fired their bitter words as arrows against him. And when they did, it didn't bother them in the least. They did not fear either David or the Most High. It says Psalm 64 emphasizes the devious nature of David's enemies. They use secret plots. They shoot in secret. They attack suddenly, especially because David mentions an attack by arrows from a hidden or secret position. These enemies act like the ancient version of snipers. So this is what we're seeing take place with Jake. Right? They're being spiritually, right? So these things aren't happening by accident, man. They're direct attacks, right, at the communities, man. Right? So it's like they're being sniped at and taken away one by one. Right? It says the key word in Psalm 64 is suddenly, meaning unexpectedly or without warning. David knew how dangerous it was in battle, but hidden archer working as a sniper. If he can see and confront his enemy one-on-one, a warrior such as David liked his chances. But the hidden sniper was of great concern to be put down by an arrow he never saw coming. This is what Jacob's happening. They're getting hit with arrows that they can't see coming. That's why Esau has to move subtly as that serpent, man. Because when he works in the background, he knows he has even greater chances of taking through the block, man.
Yeah. Keep feeding them that gang shit. All right, keep feeding them that rap, that black shit. Keep the single parent homes going. Keep the black woman in power.
Diet.
Yeah, keep their diet fucked up so they can't think.
Stop it.
You know.
No, in slavery, pretty much they were, they didn't have a use for Jake. Essentially, when they was done with him, they hit him over the head and then, he'd be dead. But nowadays it's hidden in secret, because essentially it's like a slow kill. They put it into the food. It's a McDonald's on every street corner. And you got the Chinese food place right beside every food line, right by the hood.
It's a slow bleed. Because, like you said, back then, they had no more use for you, they just kill you. But now, Esau wants to bleed you to the last drop. Because every little bit of use of you can make money for him. This is why you see Esau doing everything, whether it's the people, the land. If you notice, that you never see any open fields like that no more. Because every time Esau sees something, that's an opportunity for him to build a parking deck or a wall or some type of shit. He the way he thinks is somehow we gotta make money off of something. Capitalism, right.
It says, David's enemies didn't use literal arrows. They attacked him secretly, anonymously, without the courage to say things to his face. They shot at him like a sniper shoots a man who has no way to defend himself. They know that Jake's power, Jake's defense have been removed, man. So now they shoot you from afar, bro. They shoot you from afar, knowing that if they came up to you and told you these things were designed for your destruction, you'd be able to offset it in some way or form, right? But instead, they do this to make you think that it's just a part of your culture. It's a part of your belief system, right?
Perfect example of that. You have what they call it says the secret Edomite covenant or the Masonic Creed. And when you read into this, it was a leaked document that came out on June 21st, 2002 on a major financial reporter, MakeIndex.com by anonymous source. It reveals the secret plans of the secret occult elite, which the Bible refers to as the wicked. So it says, an illusion will be so large, so vast, it will escape their perception. Those who see it will be thought as the same. We will create separate fronts to prevent them from seeing the connection between us. We will behave as if we were not connected to keep the illusion alive. Our goal will be accomplished one drop at a time, and as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they occur, because this secret war that they declared on Jacob has gone so vast to where it pretty much went to the whole world, to where their own people and the heathen suffer from it as well. It says, we will always stand above the relative good of their experience, because we know the secret of the absolute. We will work together always and remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespan short and their minds weak, while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in such a way so they will never see what's coming.
That's why Scripture said never trust that enemy.
That's right. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water and also in the air. They will be blanketed and poisoned everywhere they turn. The poison will be absorbed through their skin and mouths. They will destroy their minds and reproductive systems. From all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information.
I was gonna say that's just spot on. You know, especially you said when that was in 2002.
This is when they
That's
found
when
it.
they found it in 2002. But the advancements of then 2002 to now, the food has gotten worse, the air quality has gotten worse, the water's gotten worse, everything has just gotten worse.
Yeah, because when you look at it, this just shows you these are the sons of Satan. Because like it's talking about the spraying of the poison. They spray barium oxide and aluminum in the air. That's the main two properties in the chemtrails. When you look on the periodic table, barium oxide and aluminum spell out Baal. That shows you that this is Satan in the flesh that's working on the people right now. Can you get real quick, Revelation 64, going out, read this. Man, that's death, man.
So Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there was sent out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
This is the Edomite, all right? That red horse, man, that was given the task from taking peace from the earth, man. This is why everything this man does, it brings death and disorder to the earth, man. That's why he's known as one of his titles as the Son of Perdition.
And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
Right, and that great sword he has been waging on the earth, waging war with on the earth since him coming into power, going all the way back to the Greeks, Romans until now. All right, so continuing on, it says the poison will be hidden everywhere that surrounds them, and what they drink, eat, breathe, and wear. We must be ingenuous in dispensing the poison before they can, as far as they can see. We will teach them that the poisons are good with fun images and beautiful tones. Those they will look up to will help. We will enlist them to push our poisons. We will see our products being used in film and will grow accustomed to them and they will never know their true effect, which is why the brothers mentioned things like the McDonald's, these different commercials. And what they do, they get promoted. You know, you see LeBron James, the Sprite commercial, got the Reese's Puff, Angel Reese, and our people are all promoting the poison.
Yeah, I mean, they be eating bacon sandwich.
Yeah, this commercial.
You know what I'm saying?
The first nigga you remember some shit.
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Yeah. Oh, Juvenile. Him and others.
But that's Esau. He's a master marketer. Esau understands marketing so much down to the level of color. That's been using marketing since
Yeah, like you said, with the color, bro. It's like when you go into different stores, you see the red and yellow, the green, the blue. Those do something to your spirit. The red and yellow makes you hungry. You know, just use that as an example.
all the Bojangles.
Yeah. Scripture said that Esau is wiser than Daniel. You know what I'm saying? So this man, they search out, they study things, you know. That's what he does.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna go get some water.
All to manipulate the mind of other tribes.
You brought me a Benz. Sit down in the car.
Going to all these stores and
It's a lot, so I'm not going to read all of it, but just showing you this is the mind of the devil as we're going into Psalm 64. His heart is deep because he has figured out how to do all this and make it to where you bring it to yourself. Because our people will literally fight you to stay dying. Yeah, you tell a motherfucker, yeah, bro, you shouldn't drink cow milk. I had a damn fat woman, look at him, he's telling her that, yo, he ain't supposed to drink cow milk. So we're showing you, bro, like, this is crazy.
seeing niggas on that damn Popeye chicken.
Crazy. Yeah, we gotta go.
You can drop that. You can get Psalm 64 first. That's cool. Yeah, you drop that. So Psalm 64 and 4 again. Psalms chapter 64 and verse 4. They that may shoot in secret, pardon me, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Right, we got various different examples of that, of how Esau essentially shoots in secret, at the perfect. Yep. And what you about to mention too, you said shoot in secret, the brother Cornwalk had an example of sniping. Well, in order to, essentially snipe or to shoot from far away, you gotta observe. You gotta observe, your whatever your target is. So ultimately, each one understands, who he's looking at. He understands that he has captivity. That's why he says of everything what he does.
So suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Right? Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They ultimately don't feel as if the Lord is gonna hold them accountable.
Psalm 50 and verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
Right? Essentially, the Lord is set the elect in order. All right, and I want to get this in NLT. Psalms 50 and 21 NLT says, while you did all this, I remained silent, and you thought I didn't care. But now I will rebuke you. Listen to all my charges against you. Hey, so Esau is in the courtroom right now, and he's getting all his charges. Listen up.
You look at how they look at the you're drinking blood,
you poison the air, the food,
you have
mess up the world, mess up people's minds.
Put that shit in order. You got to cook shit right. You want to drink milk, you like almond milk, cashew milk, oat milk, stuff like that.
You have a record of everything. You have your actions for the prophecy, what you be doing in the last days, that lines up with you being a biblical man.
Yeah, we talk about the imposition, right? Yeah. The imposition against the ungodly. To the hurtful works, lucky parents.
Look at the earth, man. Look at the state of the people. Look at the state of the earth, man.
It's not going on.
Everything's dying, brother. It's real shit.
We're not going
This is why the Lord is dragging him out the way.
just for your
Either
body.
might rule or he'll destroy itself, which is about to do.
Think about it, the development of the milk is for the baby cow. So it's going to develop. It's like how
Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 6. At the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. Right? So you have the two witnesses, the northern and the southern kingdom, but you also have two and third witnesses, these troopers, right, that are coming out with all the different reports, insiders, whistleblowers, right, that are just coming out and speaking out against the inner workings of this man's system, right? The things that he's done in secrecy, right?
This is lining up with the brother you did into that Psalm 64. If you are bringing up the verse way down here,
So Isaiah 26 and 9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness.
Right, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. And true righteousness is equity and balance. Pursuant to Proverbs 11 and 1, a false balance is abomination. When we see this planet Earth, everything's supposed to be ran in a perfect balance by Esau taking out the pigs and the crabs, lobsters, and stuff like that. He's throwing everything out of balance, So ultimately, the Earth is going to learn righteousness. All right, but right now, it's not being ran in righteousness,
Psalm 52 and 5, right?
So the scriptures say, pretty much pursuant to the wicked, if you teach the wicked the righteousness, some of that effect, I can't remember what scripture. Yeah, where you not learn righteousness or something like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Isaiah 26 and 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness.
Right.
In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly.
Right.
And will not behold the majesty of the Lord.
Right. So even if you should show Esau the correct way to do it, he's not going to do it that way. The way he was made in this movie is to be the wicked. That's just what he's going to be.
He was shown the way in the time of Cain and Abel. He knew the right way, man. But his spirit was contrary to the right way. The Lord made him not to make his own.
These elites, they can end world hunger. They can they can clean up the earth if they wanted to,
They can make it to where nobody's poor. They have all the wealth in the world, but all the world's problems, they cause them, but they have the means to end it. I got a precept for you to ask me that point. This is Ecclesiastes 1:15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. That's like not numbered. 7:13. Ecclesiastes 7:13. Consider the work of the Most High, for who can make that straight which he has made crooked. Showing you what you were saying, because Esau, no matter how many times you try to make him do good, you can't. That's why in the kingdom, he's going to constantly be trying to rebel.
Oh, I don't think y'all know.
If you have a question, you can ask us.
Okay. So I've just paid $1,100 for a used transmission in my car, and I had it for one day and it went out on me again. Could y'all help me get a Lyft or an Uber home, please? Okay.
So that's really, see, that's a spirit that's the problem. As we talked about, earlier, the cost of living crisis, right? Esau has the ability to fix these problems that's weighing down on people. You know?
That was literally a clear example. But I just showed you. And it's funny, the Edomites actually Jake before they got something like this, because they know Jake is more honorable, and they know Jake is more spiritual. They know their people not gonna help them.
Jake is sympathetic. Yeah. Our people bend over backwards to help anybody. That's just in our spirit.
Yep.
You know, but they take advantage of that. This is how Esau will overtake our people.
Psalm chapter 64, verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
Right. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. You know, pursuant to Micah, can you get Micah 2? It's pretty much, you know, them encouraging themselves in evil matters, essentially because they got the power to do these things. You know?
Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Right, so you know, while they sleeping at night, they're like, damn, you know, what can we do, you know, to throw off the course of the world, you know?
Yeah, another precept is always to have Esau can sleep like Esau with you. That's my family. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Right,
yeah, Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Right, and essentially, you know, pursuant to, you know, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You see, so that's essentially the vibration that's going to be pushed out on the planet Earth. Right, and ultimately, Esau gets his rocks off by doing, you know, wickedness. You know?
So Proverbs 4:16, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall.
Right, and ultimately, you know, the average person, you know, after you have a hard day's work, you're like, you feel accomplished, you get some rest, you see, but Esau's not like that, you know, he doesn't get a good night's rest, right, until he has plans for wickedness or, you know, some type of mischief.
Yeah, it's like in Jake's spirit, it's that conscience of, you know, when you haven't done, you know, things for the Lord, or you wrong somebody, you have that conscience and it make you feel bad. It's like that for Esau if you don't fuck somebody over or go, you know, do some type of wickedness.
He spilled some blood. Yeah, it's not fully fulfilled. And he knows he's on borrowed time, so he has to do everything he can to keep pushing this society.
Like Alexander the Great. You conquered the world, you know, under like 12 years or something like that. They were sad about it.
There was nothing else to do.
That's the Edomite all day.
You see that with the elite. That's a good example you brought that up. Because the elite, it said that when you have all the money in the world, you pretty much become Florida. So next thing that they decided to do is that now they want souls. So this is why they went to the aspect of bringing this MOTB system in. They already have the whole world and have everybody under their thumb. So now the next thing is they want their spirit back. You know? They were satisfied.
Yeah, man. That's why the scripture said that. Get that. Have a good sentence out. Yep.
Isaiah 57 and 20. But the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. There is no peace, saith my power to the wicked.
That nigga tossing 2 or 4 in the bed. Man.
Jitters. He got them jitters. He can't do weakness. He start tweaking.
Shaking his shit. He's like, shit, I ain't eating too many eggs. Like, that's an Edomite, man. That's the Edomite. That's literally what they do, man. Rituals and shit. They're not doing that shit. They don't feel good, man. That's the Edomite. So
Bring me that AB.
and get them foreskins.
but you seen that though. You seen that with Madonna. She said the same thing. Literally before she performed. Before she performed, she was like, I need that A. You know what it is. To perform. She said that. That's an everyday Edomite. Even though she's probably a Jake, that's a mindset of a weakness. I ain't feeling like it. I need that. I'm here.
She is also, she's a witch. And that's what we might do.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in
Right, so you damn coons, right, of our people. You gotta understand that his spirit ain't right. There's no convincing him. There's no converting the Edomite. All right, there's no compelling him to be a righteous being. He was created to be with him. Go ahead.
That's why the brother has read it, that favor be shown to the wicked who will not be righteous. Like you said, this nigga has access to the resources. And he's still is.
That's okay right there, too?
And you got these Jakes that think they could befriend them and convert them.
We tried that already. We tried that. The Trump again tried that. That nigga came off the boat looking like a goddamn ghost. Skinny as hell from scurvy.
You want me to check this
Jake showed him how to live off the land, how to survive the winter. What happened? They turned on him, broke all the shit they made with him, and was eating his dead body and killing him. All type of wicked shit that we go into all the time. This shit ain't something, man. Even going into, post-slavery. Jake tried to, include Esau, and what happened? They all get fucked over.
Yeah. Hey, prime example. I remember some years ago, Elder Apostle Hart was cursing out the head of the GOCC. They had less Edomites in the congregation, and the Edomites tried to take it over. They tried to take over the GOCC congregation. And Elder Apostle Hart was cursing them out, man. Cursing out with the bubble out, the blackfish. Yeah, he was cursing them out. So they never brought the fucking Edomites in there. But that's just a prime example.
You ever kept over there had the garments on?
Yeah, they had the whole thing, fringes and everything. Man. Yeah. This is like years ago. It's probably about like almost 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
I'm not surprised. I got that family guy picture with Peter and garment. Yeah. But this is Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, take good heed and beware of him.
Watch him.
Thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. On what you just said. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat.
Yeah, let's seek to take thy seat, man, to overthrow you.
Right. And thou at the last remember my words and be quick with the witch. We saw in history. Prime example, that movie Killers of the Flower Moon. All right, how Esau was pretty much getting with them Gadite women, and they were just mysteriously dying, and he became the head of the family to take all their money. You know? Took everything, man.
Showing that that was backed by the Freemasons.
Right, right. So all that is showing you can't trust this devil, man. Like Elder was saying, you cool that you're out here saving Esau, trying to save Esau. You're gonna die with Esau when it comes down to it, man. And he's gonna kill you. What you think if you did it, you're gonna be in the bunker with Esau and y'all gonna be buddy buddy? No, that stomach start grumbling. Pull out that delectable Negro book, we're gonna go back to them times, man.
Exactly.
They're gonna be goddamn on that plate, kind of like a pig with the apple in his mouth.
With a chip in his ass.
Ain't let it, they gonna eat it from the butt up like they do for real.
Diabolical, man.
This is real. It's pictures. They leak the pictures in the elite parties They put the makeup, Christian style.
Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him,
Right.
but the just shall live by his faith.
But the just shall live by his faith. It's all about the faith. All right, go ahead.
Yet also because he transgresseth by wine,
Yep, that wine going into those philosophies, man. All those ideologies, philosophies that are contrary to the scriptures, to the will of the Lord. Go ahead.
he is a proud man, neither keepeth at
You
home.
need to keep it at home, as we read in Psalms 27. That green bay tree. All right? He's everywhere. In everybody's business, affairs, right? He's the police of the world. So,
He's naming himself amongst all the nations.
yep.
Like we were talking about that a while ago. All them top leaders of them nations, they're more likely to Amalekites, man.
Yep.
That ain't got up in them family lines, like they always do. Put themselves, you always find Amalekites in them top leaders.
Yep. Just like the head of Mexico.
Yep.
That woman, that's an Amalekite, man.
Yep.
You know, that got brought out some time ago. Go ahead.
It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home,
He's everywhere. Go ahead.
who enlargeth his desire as hell,
Yep.
and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
Everywhere he's at in the planet is some type of destruction. All right, kids are getting raped and put to death. All right, the land is getting polluted. You see what I'm saying? There's some type of corruption going on everywhere he's at.
Look at Gaza. Look at Ukraine. Like you said,
Look at Africa.
that place dry the fuck up. Esau is still not on resource.
You know?
And like you said, Amalekite over there, Amalekite over there, all them various places, Amalekite.
Europe, all that.
Europe, and Amalekite's the main one. Exactly.
Right.
Amalekite's the main one that's over there in Ukraine. It's them fish people. There's some things like that shit going on.
Exactly.
But you know what's heavy is the fact that when, like Jaquan mentioned Africa, I can't remember what country it was that a year or two ago, they had found like a bunch of gold, I think it was.
It was
Africa, certain country. But it was like everybody knew. It was like, hey, y'all better hide that shit. You know they coming.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But it was like it's this play about dang. It's like the world throws out this like boogeyman behind a closed curtain. But it's like, let's be direct and address who it is. It's the fucking Edomites. We know who it is that's causing the problems in the earth. It's the so-called white man. That's why when these resources get brought up, when the access to goods and services get brought up, and who can regulate the laws and legislation, everyone identifies they, but it's a blank. It's a statement. It's a blanket statement. But they know who it really is.
And it's the spirit, because since the prophets have came out on the scene, that blanket statement is now being narrowed down to a particular group of people. Because like Yashwama brings out, you can't just say it's the banking elite no more. No, it's the Edomites. It's a specific nation on the earth. We got the name, who it is. We call it out every chance that we get. Because it's the Edomites chiefly, the house of Amalek, that's finding themselves in all these positions like the bro just said.
Verse 5 in the latter, who enlarges his desire as hell and as his death.
Who enlarges his desire as hell and as his death. Go ahead.
And cannot be satisfied.
He can't be satisfied. Here it is. He's been blessed with the sword. The Lord gave him the dew of heaven, gave him the resources, the land, the oil, all that. Even the people. He still can't be satisfied, man. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Not enough. You can't sleep at night.
Like I said, he wants your soul. They got, you hear niggas always say, Illuminati on my mind, soul on my body. That's true.
It's a greedy ass nigga, man. Right. That's where the Lord gonna beat his ass.
But that shows you, like the scriptures say, man, this is the byproduct of what the flesh brings. The scriptures talk about how the eye is never satisfied. He's the epitome of carnality.
Exactly. Man. All day. Go ahead.
Verse 5 in the latter, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yeah, going back to when he saw that pottage. He couldn't wait.
Hell,
He said, I'm at the point where I'm about to die. What does this birthright mean unto me?
No foresight.
Jacob's like, shit, give it up.
Man, the fuck out of him.
You know?
They ain't even cooked it here.
Yeah, here you go. I'll take it.
Uncooked meat and listen.
You know? Then he want to despise it after he realized what he did. You know? Then when he got supplanted, all right, when his mother had to put on the garment, the hairy garment, to trick his father, now he want to slay his brother Jacob.
Man, it's crazy. That nigga never took accountability. Esau never took accountability. He never said, man, I wish I had the mindset to have appreciated the blessing. That nigga said, nah, I'm just gonna slay my brother.
But that's his spirit in general. Esau doesn't appreciate shit.
Nothing sacred.
Nothing sacred to him, bro. As you see, all these burial grounds of Gadites that we have murdered, and look at me, they tear the burial ground down with all the bones in the ground, build up fucking stores and buildings and all this shit over. You wonder why shit's haunted.
But it's still to this day, we saw, if you look on the comments, when you're still here, we saw the Christian things breaking down Esau and Jacob. You'll still hear Esau on the comment board, yeah, he stole the birthright. Niggas.
They had a lawful agreement.
Yeah. They shook on it. No, still to this day, no accountability, man. Still trying to justify their full fault.
He said, what is this birthright do unto me?
That's the better first, you know?
Go ahead.
You want me to jump down?
Yeah, whatever.
Verse 8, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee.
Exactly. See, Esau always feared a retribution. That's why he goes around the earth killing everything, because he knows eventually that it's all gonna come back upon him.
Right?
You know? That's why when they see any of the colored nations unified and all of that, it puts fear in his heart. Because they don't know what they're planning.
Because they know they wrong every nation on the planet.
Exactly.
It's Isaiah 14, and sorry, verse 5. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
Yes, matter of fact, the continuous stroke. It goes into what? The sanctions that he's put on these nations, the wars that he's caused, war crimes, all of that, man.
They found it clean out what you read, bro. Because that's not just in America. They've done that everywhere.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Why is Monsanto worldwide? Now certain countries have banned it, but still. It's a McDonald's. Why is the McDonald's paying in China? Where you have the whole earth is supposed to be a blue zone. Where people are supposed to live long, prosperous lives. This nigga is putting Taco Bell and Burger King and shit in these different countries. Like I was reading Dr. Mike Tyson book, he was talking about the Japanese, they used to live to be in their hundreds. Now, it's only in certain blue zones over Japan. Everybody else over there fat. They can't even walk up steps and everything, man. You get old, you're not supposed to, nobody's not supposed to break down when you get in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then here, you got niggas with walking the cane.
Yeah. Back all hunched over.
Put all swole.
Yeah, that's crazy. You see these so-called foreigners over here, like prime example, like the Elamite, right? The Indians. Them niggas be fat as hell now.
The reason why it's like that because the reason why it's like that is because, like you said, Elam, they use like a lot of seed oils and stuff like that in their culture. So when they come over here, they still think that they're able to eat like that, but the stuff over here is corrupt. That's what they blow up like that.
Yeah, that should be crazy. Big as hell. Like when I was young, when you saw them foreigners, man, they were skinny and everything. Japanese, the Indians,
Even the northern tribe that was coming over here, they were small, man. They were like, you'll see some Venezuelans, they was all skinny, man. Now everybody got
The
food.
food, bro, you get addicted. Like that video, they was giving him Sprite, how they was bugging out, and they take the Sprite.
It was like a crackhead,
Bro,
bro.
Doritos. There was a comedian I was watching, he was talking about, you watch videos of foreigners trying Doritos for the first time, that shit like crack.
Yeah, they gave them corn and everything.
That's why Brazil was suing them for the corn. The men are over there beating off and all types of shit.
They weaponized corn.
Yeah,
You know?
they suing them for that shit.
That was a World War I tactic, man.
Because it weaks
The mind. When you constantly letting off like that, you still get robbed and want to, fight.
Yeah, that's why you got OnlyFans, that's why you got Tinder, that's why you got social media, and look at the men of this society today.
And who's running? Democrats.
Exactly.
Every avenue.
They got it all covered, like the brother said. Every corner is covered.
Isaiah 14:6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindered. So like the brother said, man, right? This devil has brought pain and suffering to the entire earth, man. Right? Where like the brother said, it should be all blue zones, right? It's all red zones now, man. Right? Everything is causing death to these people, and whether they realize it or not, right? You're supposed to live a lot longer, right, than you currently are, but because of the state of society, through the philosophy that these Edomites push, everybody's dying at earlier ages, man. It's like 72 or 70, like 70 something is the expected life.
Yeah, the scripture says you live for about 70, 3-4 years. You know, but that shows you, because you come over here, niggas are smoking cigarettes, I say you eating all type of bullshit, early. It's destructive life over here, man.
Yeah, we're not gonna see the ages as our great grandparents and our grandparents' age. If we stay here, we ain't got that long, man. You know.
It's Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 6, NLT. You struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny.
Yeah, that's why in Obadiah it talks about how it says they sit in a basket. Matter of fact, give me that first verse. Let us prepare against her for battle. You know?
You're not just on my fault.
You good? You good, man. Go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 1, it says, the vision of Ibadiah Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador sent among the heathen.
That's right.
Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle.
Yeah, see? So these nations are coming together and they're rising against her. Who's the her? Babylon, Edom. All right, all of these names are synonymous with Esau. Mount Seir, Babylon, Assyria. All right, who else? Idumea, right? That's all Egypt. It's all synonymous to Esau, man. Okay, that's the ruling power on the earth today, right now, which he would be the end of the world as well.
Yeah. Even you can tie Gog and Magog, because who's ruling that? Esau.
Yep.
The Russians. Yep.
Yep. The Russians are Edomites. Ukraine, them are Edomites too.
Australians.
Yep.
Esau goes over to these different countries, murders and pushes out the natural inhabitants and takes over the identity of that land.
Yep, Psalms 49:11.
Yeah.
They name lands after their own names.
Right.
Now this is Bond Rock 13 and 3. The rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth with all. The poor is wrong, he must entreat also.
Yeah. The woman is wrong, because here it is. The thing, when you realize the purpose of what you're putting is for the people are supposed to serve you. So your kingdom thrives off of your servants. So yeah, this devil goddamn kills his servants, man. Keep the kingdom running.
Verse 4, if that be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
There you go. So once you have no more use of Esau, he can discard you.
Yep.
You know? That's how it works.
That's why you jakes that sell out are fucking retarded. He'll use you for his agenda, and then once you are no longer abused, you outuse your, outlived your use, he moves on to the next. Yeah. Why do you think these athletes are coming out more and more with depression? Because like you got like guys like Derrick Rose, for example. Derrick Rose making NBA millions of dollars. The moment he went down with that injury, they just threw him to the curb.
Exactly.
It's not Chicago, but Chicago is top 4 highest grossing cities in the NBA. Behind Boston, there's Boston, LA, California, and Chicago. You know, so with that, they brought them back after Michael Jordan's departure into relevance. As soon as he got hurt, they done wrong. Isaiah Thomas, Boston, they use you until it's no longer used. They get rid of you. Yeah, nigga fucked his career up playing through injury, and then as soon as they found something better they could use for him, they got rid of him.
Look at the entertainers. Look at the deal with Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince. All right? All them top jakes, man. Bill Cosby, all of them, man.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna fall on you.
Yeah, I think we read it already.
Go ahead.
Just land back.
Joel
It's Sirach, or Ecclesiastes 13, and I'm starting at verse 4. It reads, "If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear, and will not be sorry for it."
I can add to that because this is why he brought the people to the brink of extinction. All right, to where you got him literally getting ready to make all the people disposable because of AI now. Right?
Yep.
You know, that's why Noah Yuval Harari said pretty much, people are dispensable now. Right? You know, they're going to become useless eaters by the time we really get this AI rolling. Man. You know, so when you really think about it, that's stupid because you need people to run your society. Real quick to prove that point. This is Proverbs chapter 14 and 28. I'm reading in the NLT. It said that growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. So a true glory of a king is slaves, or we can say servants. Right? Yeah. All right. So this shows you how Esau's an unfit ruler because he's destroying the very thing that's going to make his kingdom straight or great, like you know. So he doesn't understand the byproduct of what he's doing. How detrimental that is. Right. Yeah. You're destroying the earth, and you're destroying the very people that run the earth. Or that keep the earth running.
This man is unstable, man. And the Lord got to get him out the way.
Joel, 1 and 17.
You got a madman ruling the earth.
Joel chapter 1 verse 17. The seed is rotten under their clods. The garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, for the corn is withered.
Right. You destroyed the crops of the earth. See, why the fuck do we got terminated?
Right.
Why is Monsanto a thriving business? All right. Why are you having monocrop fields that only produce one type of agriculture? Man? That's unhealthy for the land. All right. When you do that, you're supposed to plant multiple different vegetables and fruits because that helps keep the land diverse. But if you're doing just one food source for a whole field, that's detrimental to that land.
Yeah. Because like you said, when you plant those different crops, it helps regenerate the soil.
Exactly.
That's agriculture.
What's it called? Crop rotation.
Yeah. And then on top of that, he's not honoring the land Sabbath. So every 7 years, he's supposed to let that land, you burn whatever is there, and you move to a different land to get that land time to replenish its nutrients. This is why you see everything pretty much lacking the nutrients because the land is barren.
Corn be all extra small and shit.
Corn is fake.
But yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like all your vegetables and stuff, that's not in there, right? They growing in the wrong season.
Right.
Like you doing all this shit.
Yeah. Like we call talking about in the car. Why the fuck is there watermelon in December? If you understand how nature works, nature brings certain fruits and vegetables for seasons. Like the colder months, you're supposed to eat more filling and warmer foods to keep you from freezing. When you're in the summertime, you're supposed to eat more hydrated fruit, the watermelon and cucumbers, the melons like that, to keep your body. So your body naturally navigates towards the foods that grow in seasons. Yes. Every season, your body changes. And so we're not taught this, but you're supposed to change every season. You notice your spirit, it changes. Just like the earth, man. Everything, like you said, is tied together, man. You can't operate the same you do in wintertime and summertime.
He corrupted all of this. That's why I say, how come nobody talks about this stuff? Then you would have a video, you have these Christians pop up with a video, who's Esau Edom? Who's responsible for this shit? That's what the scripture saying, Job 9 and 24. Matter of fact, give me that real quick. Right?
The Bible puts a faith on all.
Because it's like, it's like these things are being addressed, but we're the only ones speaking on them. But all of a sudden, nobody knows who the Edomites is. Or when he's pointed out, it's hate. I don't get that, man. That's why you Jakes that's in the spirit and the world will beat you down.
But you see how hypocritical that is. You watch these farm shows, Esau had a fucking wall with all the people, and then they all connected to the main guy.
Yeah.
Well, the Lord have done that with you.
Exactly. You got it.
Book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24.
That's right.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Uh-huh.
If not, where and who is he?
So if this man is not the wicked, then who is he? Where is he at? All right. Who's doing this to the planet? Who's killing the people? Who's pushing all these wars? Right. So that's the thing, man, and that's why, like you said earlier, the culprit has to be addressed, which is the biblical Edomite. Right.
The time of making blanketed statements is done with, bro. It's a face and a name behind that, and the Bible calls that person out directly.
Yeah.
And our job as being the prophet is not to tiptoe around it.
Yeah.
We go right at it and show you who it is, man.
Yeah.
Like you say, the righteous are throwing his lion because Lord, we're in the world to the elect. We are the very creators that was with Yahweh back then that made all this. And it shows that because we're the only ones that give a fuck about this stuff being fucked up. You can go back to Joel for a little bit more. Nobody else talks about that. Like you said, you Christians, and all this shit talk about the Israelites, but why don't you talk about the problems that's going on
That's
in the
what I'm
world?
saying. Who's destroying the planet, man? We're not responsible for that.
These Christians don't have a biblical worldview. That's the issue. They're not
But even outside of the biblical worldview, they have a skewed version of view of reality. Because you ask them what's wrong with the world, they'll give you all these tiptoed answers instead of going right at the problem. Man.
Exactly.
Well, I think that the problem is
What you think?
Yeah, why is corn one of the major selling industries in America? And why are you introducing this shit to children? What the fuck do kindergartners and preschoolers have to learn about gay and anal sex? You know?
Yeah.
It's questions like that they don't want to answer.
Occultism, I did the lesson on it.
Right.
Occultism it generates $2.5 billion a year. And that's witchcraft, sorcery, magic, tarot cards, astrology, praying to your ancestors and shit. Right?
They sell Ouija boards in Walmart in the board game section, bro. I remember when I used to work at Target, I saw that shit. I'm like, what the fuck? So you got niggas dabbling with the dark arts in the kids section.
Come on, man.
This is just a witchcraft. If you get the wrong board, then they goddamn.
And you wonder why all these fucking people are bugged out, man. People are possessed. People are walking around with demons and spells on them, man. Right?
They think they're not. They really are.
You get taught how to do shit like that early. I never did it, but games like doing Bloody Mary in the back, that's conjured up demons, man. You know, those are demons that you said that word when you go into that video, it's called scrying.
Yeah.
You know? You talking to a dark screen conjuring up demons. It's like this phone. You're doing that with this phone. Anything that's the black screen, TV, laptop, tablet, all this shit. You can if you use that in that way, that's how you conquer these spirits out, man. Even watching shit like that, bring out demons, man. So you watch, remember you watch them old ass, or you go to sleep and you wake up to them demonic ass previews for that shit. Yeah. That's what it takes. I'm gonna keep the TV on, but that shit be putting spirits in the house, man.
I got that shit in my bedroom. I took that shit in the house. We should have quietness. Joel chapter 2 and verse 18. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yeah, the flocks of sheep are made desolate.
Yeah. The animals are oppressed, man. The fact that we have zoos and aquariums, that's high gross businesses, all that is a certified prison for animals, man.
That's
Running around depressed and shit.
Yeah, I saw an elephant at the zoo some years back when I went, man. That damn elephant was malnutrition, man. Malnourished.
Bones and shit.
Yeah, it didn't even have, like, you know, normally you see an elephant that has that nice gray coating. This nigga was like burgundy red. And like, he didn't even look right, man. Yeah, you can see his ribs and shit. I'm like, damn.
That's like when you go to the SeaWorld and shit, you see that orca, when his dorsal fin is laying sideways, that's the sign of depression. And people go in there cheering and shit, he's jumping up doing all the flips, bro, he's depressed. That's like that scene when you watch Space Jam, and you see Michael Jordan chained up on that planet, sitting on the planet, that's the equivalent of what the orca's doing in them tanks, man.
dance.
Yep.
God, it's Proverbs 29 and 2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
But when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn.
Right, and the whole earth beyond the people is in that state of mourning, man. And like the brother was just reading, you go to these farms, slaughterhouses and shit. You eating what you think is pasteurized, grass-fed, well, not pasteurized, wild range and grass-fed meat.
Yeah, free range.
Free range. Them niggas is in a 3x4 cage just sitting there from a calf or whatever baby you call him till he's old enough to be slaughtered. And that's why that meat tastes funny when you eat that shit, because you're ingesting all the toxins, stress, all that shit. And you take in what you eat. That's why we feeling like that, man. When you eat that shit.
And Esau might done done some real shit.
Yeah, he's popping the animals
Popping
and
it
shit.
and shit. They had ranches over there, what, in Europe? Popping animals. Popping them and then cutting them.
They put them on
Yeah,
sale.
they eat pretty cool.
Yeah, like, this shit gotta go, man. This shit is fucking, this is steroids, bro.
Yeah, steroids, yeah. Big ass chicken legs and shit, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Them chicken legs are like baseball bats.
Yo,
That shit be crazy.
I remember one time I went to Atlanta. I forgot the name of the spot, but that chicken tender was no lie like this big. I ate that shit and I realized when I was eating I got sick, bro.
You can see the shit and you can tell it's fucked up. Because as you eat the chicken, you can look at the shit inside, you like, this ain't no goddamn
No, the chicken is supposed to be like, you're supposed to put lime in the meat,
I
bro.
done done the same thing. I done bit it and I look and I be like, man, I can't eat this. You'll look at the little thing, you like, this ain't even real chicken, man.
Can't even finish that shit.
Nah, bro.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 19. O Yahweh, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field.
That's going to be the future.
Yeah, I guess you got
to like clean all the shit that's wrong. That's why the Lord, when he does that, he got to kill the animal. Yeah, he got to wipe out the vegetation because this shit is all out of whack. Certain crops and animals aren't even supposed to be over here in America.
Everything's illegal.
Like certain horse types, pigs, different animals, they're not supposed to be over here in America. They're not native to this land, man.
You got polar bears and shit over there.
Right.
Fuck,
Right.
man. Polar bear in Texas and shit. Hot as hell.
Hottest part of America.
Hot as hell. You got a polar bear out there.
And the air
Damn
conditioner
coat
front.
Hanging off on him, skinny and shit.
Yeah, you see, polar bears are actually black under their fur. So you see that, when you see that gray black, that shows you that they're not healthy, man.
Hell no. Ain't nobody healthy over here in Babylon. Everything's
Feeding them goddamn freedom.
Yeah, that's Romans the 8th chapter. All the creation groaneth all together until now.
Why you think you see these shows where these animals be attacking Edomites? That's all you see. Really. Yeah, I've never seen a Jacob before.
Nah, I really think, nah. Sometimes you see Jake running for a dog, bro. When Esau gets fucked up, big bull, that's Jake. You see that one dog was gone. Esau getting bit by that dog.
You saw get attacked by like chickens. All things make you saw, man.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 9, reading in the NLT. But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires.
Yeah, that's America, man. All these different desires that he's pushing out in different avenues to entrap you in that system, man. That's why Jake is fully submitted to the ways of this system, man. That's why Jake don't want to come back to the ways of the East, man.
Right. That's why the scripture say what? You get destroyed the heart. Because Jake has that mindset where it's talking about the engineers, oh, I'm gonna get the bag, I'm gonna taste the bag. They can listen to Lil Baby so much they fucking think that they Lil Baby.
Grown niggas. Nigga in his 50s and 60s bumping Lil Baby, wearing the tight jeans and shit.
Big ass forces, man.
Still that damn hustle and bustle culture, man. You know, but it's that pursuit of money that it draws them away from who they really are. The Lord's Prayer tells us to give us our daily bread. It's sufficient for us. That pursuit of money will drown your ass out.
That's what you got to cover the spirit as your oppressor. That's the spirit that Esau has.
Exactly.
He got the building, now I want the building. He got the big house, I want the big house. That's being a covenant. That's the mindset of a Edomite. That's Esau to a T, man. He got to have what you got.
In the law, it tells you not to cover
Covenants are neighbor's will.
That's one of the 10 Commandments.
Verse 9 in the letter, it says, and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction.
Is that not the black culture to a T? And it's all, I mean, who's the main one promoting it to our people, the Edomites, man? These people on this side, man. They got taken at this spirit right here. These people, man, as a brother always said, they the ones that get the child learner committee, all these various things to get Jake to where it is, to bind to this system. That's these people, man.
The latest trend.
Yeah. The latest trend.
Even the direction the music goes, that's all them.
Yeah, and it is targeted to who? Israelites.
Yeah, because people forget that, you know, the CIA has a hand in Hollywood.
Yep.
When it comes to the movies, television shows, video games, media, all of that.
Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Walt Disney worked hand in hand with the CIA. He was part of the CIA. Look that up. He was part of the CIA, man. Hell, the so-called moon landing was used at the damn Walt Disney shit out there in California. For that scripted damn bullshit you people put together. One step to another. Van blowing.
It's so fucked up that they don't even realize that was even Lance Stevens. Lance Armstrong. The nigga name was Bill Altman.
And they were some criminals. Look, when you look into that.
Yeah, it's right. That's a great. Neil Armstrong. Yeah.
When you look into the history that them so-called dudes that went onto the so-called moon, there was some criminals back in Europe that had come over here. So y'all be praising them to this day. When you look at the history of them three niggas, they really were some criminals they brought over here done that bullshit.
All on the green.
All on the green screen.
Yeah, because there was an interview, Edomite had interviewed, what's his name, Neil Armstrong, and he caught him somewhere in a hotel lobby. He hit him with the ambush journalism, and he asked him about the moon landing, and he took off running.
And like I said, that wasn't even him. Like I said, the dude, I believe his name was Bill Altman. It's Bill something. You can look him up, man.
But and the thing's so crazy as back in the elder, and now he to the point where he keep telling motherfuckers it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And he telling motherfuckers right here, they're like, we're like, it didn't happen. And they be just like, damn, he telling y'all that shit was fake. It goes right over their head, bro.
They don't want to believe it. They rather believe a lie. Verse 10. The NLT it says, 1 Timothy 6 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
And that's the thing. Money itself is not evil. Like Christians say, it's the love of money. The pursuit that makes you want the money. Like, you get rock, we talk about how men throw away their bells, sell their soul for the money. It's the love of it, because this society teaches you that it's all about the pursuit of the bags. Money is our life because it's counselors on that money, right?
Yeah. Money is, in the scripture say money is a defense.
It's an enchantment.
Yeah.
But the biggest defense is wisdom.
Exactly. That says money is a defense. Money is a defense, but wisdom is giving life.
Because if you notice, if you just look at it in the grand scheme of things, King Solomon. King Solomon was praying to the Lord. The first thing he asked the Lord for was wisdom. And the byproduct of him getting wisdom came the riches. You need the wisdom first. Because people say riches are coming to a nigga. That's why Esau will give a nigga out the hood $1 million contract and watch him destroy himself.
Why this nigga is 10 hours.
Yeah, because they know Drake don't know what to do with that type of money. And they know they're going to give it right back to him.
Surah 10 and verse 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one selleth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his vows.
Right, so a nigga will literally sell his soul for some FRN, man. Like the brother was reading, all right, for the love of money is the read that again about the
First Timothy chapter 6, verse 10 in the NLT. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
Yeah, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Because we're at a point in time where a nigga would do anything for a bag. And it ain't even gotta be much. It could be just, as we see, like that movie, Queen and Slim. The nigga did all that for that little bit of money. Because the nigga that sold out, guy from the Black Panthers, Brad Hampton, they got $20 in the cash. It was $20, I can't remember. It was cheap.
It was a couple.
You know, but it was cheap.
Yeah.
That nigga burned through that shit in less than a year, more like.
Yeah, we looked up Judas Iscariot, how much those shekels were.
Yeah. What do you want with
Like,
nothing.
nothing.
Nothing, bro. And we're at the point where niggas do that shit for less.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Give a nigga 8 weeks straight right.
Only fucking Jordan.
I got a precept for that.
It says that some people craving money have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. But I just wanted to add that because brothers was talking about how we have identified the wicked in the earth. He has been made very clear who he is. But when you talk to these people that have been, led astray with the cares of this world, that have pretty much been blinded by the God of this world, as the scriptures speak of, they will disassociate from even being realistic about the fact that there is substantial evidence that shows that the house of Edom is governing the earth today. And wickedness. They don't care because their whole mindset is like, look, I'm just about my life.
That shows you that even with that psyop they go on, they show you that right there. They don't give a damn. They telling you the president in the foul. Which he was, he been saying it for years. But they can show you the mindset of the people. People don't give a damn. They don't care. This whole earth is in gross darkness, man. So all the people worried is about themselves.
There it is. Elon Musk dropped that quote-unquote truth bomb. And niggas be more concerned about this. Halle Berry, whatever the name, Halle Berry, PG, and all these other, Remy Ma, Captain.
Yeah, all that bullshit.
Everything, all this shit.
No, they set up. It's all smoke and mirrors, man. It's not one fucking side.
As long as you ain't talking about Esau. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Don't you talk about teachers of World War III,
prophecies,
the rise of the MOTV system, the fall of the economy. As long as you don't have them in your mouth and get distracted with folly, you're good.
and you're not repentant to you. How about
Yeah, that's what it is. That's first and foremost, man. As long as you ain't repenting, niggas stay worry about Cardi B and goddamn gigs and shit, man. Worry about him dancing with, worry about folly, man.
What was that kick something from that thing?
Yeah. As the scriptures say, folly is set in great hidden, but the rich sit in low places.
Yeah, while Shador Sanders on the start.
Yeah, stupid.
Younger sisters will lie.
They had an article that came out that said that people who obsess over celebrity lives have a low IQ.
That's America. The majority of people in America have a low IQ. They be like, I'm a smart college. You worry about celebrities majority of your day.
What? The fact that TMZ is a $1 million industry, let you know that. They push gossip out there, and that's more important than the news.
And that's I remember when that shit came out, bro. TMZ, because it used to be on WBA-TV, the little local channel, and then they start pushing it out with athletes and certain scandals. They say, no, like you said, that's $1 billion damn company, man. Now I'm dealing with $1 million franchise. That's a franchise. As soon as the first thing niggas be waiting on, TMZ got it. Such and such got shot in the foot. TMZ got it. They was like, damn. That's showing, like the brother said, that's American gossip, all that entertainment bullshit. That's how you know you're in Rome all over getting bread and circus, man.
Scripture talk about that, and that's one of the ways that destroy you. Scripture talk about be not a busybody.
Yeah.
Somebody find it.
Yeah, but that's now you got grown men gossip more than women. That's the state of America. You got grown ass men in their damn near 40s gossiping about little bullshit, man. You see what's the name? That's busybody shit. You see, that's fucking. You think our grandfathers and shit was doing that shit back in the day? Hell no. They didn't give a damn about no shit like that. You go to your pop-up, they smack your ass like
Like
shit.
Paul said in the group that there's no reason why we should know some of these niggas' names.
It's a definition of parasocial. It means parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship, typically with a public figure like a celebrity or a fictional character, where an individual feels a sense of intimacy and closeness, even though the relationship is not reciprocal.
Perfect example. You got all these women ready to cut niggas off because of Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Halle Berry, and all these other dumbass bitches, man.
Yeah, I got another.
They hate niggas that side with the niggas.
They got another program. Niggas will kill you over LeBron, Michael Jordan.
Yes, that's happens.
That's what I said. It'll be a barbershop talk, and they feel like they know Jordan, like they sat right beside him or some shit, and was tying his shoes.
That's because
That's like, on my daddy's third side. Like they will kill you over a dumbass debate like that. But that's a clear definition of that shit right there, man.
It says it's a perceived connection that stems from media consumption, like watching TV or following social media.
The media, it's not that media goes back to witchcraft.
Stupefied the people.
Yeah.
It says without any real life interaction.
we shouldn't know these things, but see, things like social media have boom, and this is essentially dumb to people down.
All right, so 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's affairs. Matters.
That's the characteristic of black culture. Murderer, busybody. That's the characteristic of a YN. A nigga. A goddamn diva. Bad bitch, right? That's the characteristic of them, man. You got Eve out here shooting down women at the park and just arguing over fucking kids and shit.
That was that's still good.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
Folly is set in great dignity. Folly is exalted in society. Anything that's stupid, anything that dumbs down the people, that keeps you distracted, that's the main focus, right? Now, like you said, going back to Rome, credit circles, right? People can't have enough of that shit, man.
Yeah.
You know?
This is the same thing that was going on then, where you have chefs and people who are not important put up like that. That's how we know this is Rome all over.
Yeah, because when you watch TV, when they say the new drama series or some shit like that, and you be like, oh man, he popped her, and you be like, oh man, what? That's shit because it's the drama.
The Bachelor.
Yeah, stupid ass shit. What was it?
Flavor of Love.
No, reality TV. That dumb shit.
Remember that shit with R. Kelly?
Yeah,
The closet,
yeah.
like a little series.
Yeah.
Everybody was into that shit.
Yeah,
man, what's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
But that's what they pushing is American system.
Yeah, that shit, yeah,
That
everybody's
drama
into
and
that
shit,
shit,
man.
You know? But that's the folly.
Yeah.
3 and 23.
Alright, this is Sirach 3 and 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, more things are should unto that men understand.
Right. This is why I don't understand. We're not supposed to know all this stuff going on with these people. There it is. You got, like you said, people invested in these celebrities' lives more than stuff that they just know about. The motherfuckers can tell you Cardi B's whole life story, but don't know shit about what's going on overseas. Don't know what's going on with AI and shit. They can tell you how her Offset and Stephon Diggs will love trying to do all that.
All of this, because social media, man. Social media. That shit, I hate social media.
I don't see what niggas seeing Cardi B, man.
That bitch is a fucking hoe, man.
BBL, all these bitches, all these women are doctored up anyway. BBLs, all types of shit.
Ain't nobody doing that.
You know?
This shit is a weird ass society.
See them pictures like them women back in the 90s.
Where are we?
We ain't gonna never get that again.
Where are we, bro?
I ain't even gonna lie. When I was seeing on social media, you see the women in the 90s, they were so feminine and loud and
Fine.
fine as hell. Now you look at these, you be like, what the hell is that? Like, our women wouldn't even wearing makeup and shit like that.
You didn't look at them lustfully. You looked at them like, man,
My wife.
And you didn't come approaching on no nigga shit like, hey, you trying to figure out a way to talk to that.
you approach these people now, horny as hell, I'm trying to fuck that night. No, that kid, you want to wild it down or motherfucker?
That's why I want to do is talk. It's certain, not that big. You see what happened to Jai. You see what happened to Jai. Putting that woman first.
Unless you see something else in
Back in the book of Psalm, chapter 64. Psalm 6, chapter 64, verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
Right? You saw feel as if the Lord isn't watching you over the scripture. say, you know, the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. You know?
And that represents the angels. The angels are seeing everything that's happening in America.
Yeah, the angels are the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah, they said the eyes of the Lord upon the city of heaven. I was at Psalm Amos 91.
Isaiah 29 and 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us?
Right, and that's the spirit of Esau Edom. You know, again, you know, when they go into these different meetings and stuff like that, they feel as if, you know, the Lord isn't watching. But the Lord has 24 hours surveillance, you know, constantly surveilling, you know.
That's one city I will say is very similar.
Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Isaiah 29 and 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he hath no understanding?
Right, so being that Esau Edom had, you know, thrown the earth out of course, you know, essentially,
Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Or shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he hath no understanding?
pretty much, you know, the Lord essentially made the earth in balance. You see, being that Esau Edom has essentially thrown everything out of balance, the Lord is judging them, you know.
Back in Psalm chapter 64, verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
Yeah, this man, he has literally studied the scriptures. Literally every precept the Lord has, he found a way to pretty much make it profane and make everything vibrate opposite.
Turn it upside down.
Yeah,
Right here in my Bible, right, it says that they accomplish a diligent search. It says we are consumed by that which we have thoroughly searched. You know, so this devil, it's not like he was just winging it. No, he was set on, all right, I understand the habits of my enemies. Let me look after this. Let me look into their laws. Let me look into how they operated in the past kingdom. That's why this Babylon the Great is referenced in the scriptures as the mother of harlots and abominations.
Yeah.
This devil has done a diligent search into finding out every weak point that the Israelites have experienced.
Or even just in general, because they researched how the earth works, and they figured out, all right, well, we can do this, and this could end up, hurting the people to where we can monetize off this shit. Everything that he done, he does diligent search to make it a weapon.
Verse 6 in the latter. But both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Right, that word for Edom goes into unsearchable. You know, this devil is very mysterious and strange, and ultimately, he has done that research,
Verse 7. But Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai shall shoot at them with an arrow.
Run it back.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
Right. He says, thou art wiser than Daniel. There's no secret that they can hide from you. Because pretty much, like Priest is going into, Esau has set up different campaigns, archaeology, in different science sections. And pretty much he pays people to do research, whether it's in Egypt, Rome, and he takes these the studies from these different places and essentially he applies it to American Babylon the Great.
Yeah, no, that's why Babylon known as the land of confusion. All those idols that had our people ensnared are exercised here today, but they go under new names. It's the same idols and demons from the past, right?
I'll give you an example of that.
You got what's called obsolete buildings. You got the Roman cathedrals. You have all the architect. Going back to Greece and Rome. The idols, the gods like Serapis. All right, the main stronghold that's on the minds of our people to this day. All right, that Jesus Christ demon. Right?
That shit is crazy.
I'm tired of this shit.
I was speaking with the brother Bayanan on the way up here. I'm like, yo, it's crazy how you can have all this information and niggas still like,
Don't care.
So, you go into constantly that subversion. People will have been subverted to the point to where truth no longer they don't care about it. And it's due to what we went to earlier about the mindset of the people, what they're concerned about.
I seen that nigga the other day on this. Jesus crying.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
man. He got a little I was like, man, fuck, I was never going to man, hell no.
Hey, he was the one. He ran to a
Yeah, he
brother.
ran to the brother. Yeah. He started one.
He didn't like when he said that. You know, he said, I know.
Zeus, like Zeus.
Yeah, because it was you speaking about how you said the gods are repackaged. So I just wanted to go into the names to prove that point. So everything starts back with Babylon. You have the real big thing. Nimrod, Ishtar, and Tammuz. If you go into Egypt, you have Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The Medo-Persian Empire, you got Bel, Anana, and Mithra. Greece, Zeus, Semiramis, and Bacchus. Rome, Baal, Diana, and Serapis. Renaissance there, there's Jehovah, Virgin Mary, Isis, Jesus, Mary, Soleil, showing you different names. There's more.
Same idols, same false gods, but new names.
Yeah, it's like Tammuz, another name that's not listed on here. Bacchus and Dionysus are interchangeable. But you go back to Tammuz though.
Yep.
Tammuz, they consider doing that shit. That's an idol.
Psalm chapter 64 and verse 7. But Yahweh Shai shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Speaking of the news.
Right. Job chapter 20. Job 20 and 24. You shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out, its all terrors are upon them.
Right, so essentially, antimony, every area that
That's why we can't do that much. Right, but when you have
all right, and those Edomites was not destroyed by the distinction rounded up, at first slavery.
Verse 8. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
Right, essentially, those that was once inside, like insiders, they're coming out, stealing the beans and going on. It's essentially the plans of the elite. All right, that essentially goes into an aspect of, exposure.
That's just so-called truthers. Those that are part of the culture, like the Jesus and things like that, part of the brotherhood, what you see they're doing now. And they're basically exposing this still control opposition. It's like what was it, Alex Jones, really Bill Hicks.
Yeah, he's a double agent.
Double agent and all this shit.
Jeremiah 49 and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places. Jeremiah 49 and 10.
Spirit had it about it.
But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not.
Right, because at one point, Esau was able, to hide behind deception, to say, he got a right hand of falsehood, so he was able to hide behind lies. But now this is going across the four corners of the globe, and that was seen as
Psalm chapter 64 verse 9. All men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High. But they shall wisely consider of his doing.
right. Going back to the lesson, pretty much, everyone is going to know that the Lord, essentially did work that he did in the earth. It was the second Exodus.
People are taking heed to the truth now. you know, brothers, you know, that are more seasoned in the faith give their accounts of how things have progressed over time with scoffers, you know, and mockers. You know, at one point, you know, coming against the belief wholeheartedly, but then seeing the prophecies come to pass, it's like, what the fuck are you saying? Right, as the scriptures say, I will give you a mouth that your adversaries will not be able to gainsay nor resist. So us being that mouthpiece of the Lord, we are magnifying his word and his will and truth. And it's being accomplished in the earth right now. People are taking heed and they're like, oh shit, what's going to happen next?
That's why you're coming back.
Yeah.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea.
Right, so this living water is spread throughout the earth, so that this word is going forth. All right, and then ultimately, you know, similar to Psalms 9 and 16, you know, the Lord is known by his judgment. You see, that's why it says, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Lord, of the Most High, and they shall wisely consider of his doing. And that's because the Lord is bringing out judgment and his word is going out.
Psalm chapter 64, verse 10. The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh, God Shem Yahushai, and shall trust in him. All the upright in heart shall glory.
Right, and it says, and all the upright in heart, the top says, the righteous shall be glad in the Lord, and shall trust in him. And all the upright in heart shall glory. And essentially, you know, the elect is going to be praising the Lord, you know, because we're seeing the downfall of our enemies.
Proverbs 29 and verse 15. It reads, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame.
You should apply that to America. Who is America's mother? Because America decided they weren't separate. Look at the same as
Wait, where's
English get my shoulder, they look down on the United States. Even from the way they talk. They said English, they talk over here, but over there, it's like biblical.
Yeah, that is true because I remember when I went over there to London years ago, we was talking some shit, and they was mocking us on how we talk. You know? Yeah.
Proverbs 29 and 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Right, so when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases. You know, sworn to Malachi 1 and 4. All right, we also got, you know, Psalm 37. The wicked spread themselves like a green bay tree. See, so all of these things is going to be held, you know, as charges against Esau, even so-called white man. You know, so it said that we're going to witness their fall. You know, so essentially the Lord is requiring that which is passed, and we're seeing that by way of the judgments that's going out throughout the earth. Right. That's it. I don't want to Zaza Manaya Pablo, so that was a beautiful edification through the spirit. I don't want to Zaza. I thought Yahya Wam Tawam was good after the day while we were talking about saying, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Chabrash. While double honors and the apostles, the great person, their most truth to do well. Much respect to those that are pushing truth with all righteousness and sincerity.